going on YouTube? It's your boy, Guy with Cardboard, and BT6 came out in Japan about a week and a half ago, and I have been meticulously combing through decks, trying to figure out what the good stuff is, the interesting stuff, and maybe some of the sleeper picks for the BT6 expansion. Don't believe me? Meet me at my desk. Hold on a second. There's your proof. Somewhere around 10 decks. I've got an 11th one behind me on my bed being created, and I have been trying to find the good stuff in BT6. I found a lot of cool stuff. Pretty much all these decks are working, so if the deck that I cover is not the one that you see in this pile, you want to see it in a video later on, leave me a comment below, let me know. Maybe I'll cover it. But today I'm gonna comb through all this crap and move all this shit out of the way. And I'm going through BT6 LordKnight. Now, I did a LordKnight video before, and at this point, doing 2 in a row seems kind of like a bad look. But I think the deck is cool. In BT5, LordKnight was really strong. It's a tier 1 deck. In BT6, I think it may be tier 2. Some of the tricks that LordKnight can get along with in BT5 don't really work in the BT6 meta, just because there's a lot more removal, there's a lot more wide board removal, and some of the controlier decks can out-control LordKnight. But that being said, I do have a list that I have been playing with a lot the past week, and I want to share with you guys, in case you want to try a different version of this, or a different variant of this deck out. So let's get started with some of the cards in here, shall we? Let's make this as quick and painless as possible. Because I want to get to the combos really fast. But we're gonna start with the babies and work our way up. BT5 introduced Digimon, who is really nice for reducing Digimon's DP on attack. So we run 3 copies of him, and then we've got the BT3 Woopamon with on attack. If you have less than 3 security or 3 security or less, you draw a card. So a bit more card draw, a little bit more fuel to reduce Digimon's DP to 0 so that you can win the game and remove boards. Looking at the level 3s, if you played BT5 or you're going to be playing BT5 soon, I see you guys out there in the West, going to be a super must-have include for the deck, and that's going to be Starmon's. Just a great card. You drop him on the board, and for every Digimon you have, he reduces one Digimon's DP by 1,000. Really great combo with LordKnightmon. Just also, when you start to build a wide board, you can get rid of some blockers. Next up, this card. A little bit more difficult to get your hands on, but if you can get your hands on 4 copies of this card, I can guarantee you in the long run it's going to pay off. These are the promotion Pulsemons. I'll hold it up for you so you can get a better view of it. Really flexible effect with this guy. On play, if you have 3 or more security, draw a card. If you have 3 or less security, then you gain 1 memory. If you have 3 security, you basically get both effects. Again, this is a promotion card, so you're gonna have to find it out of promotion packs, stuff like that. You're not gonna be able to dig it out of BT5 itself, but if you can get your hands on them, try to get 4 copies. Next up, the new Pulsemon that is making his debut in BT6. This guy has a bit of a trickier effect. On play, you reduce your security until you have 3, and then for every security you discard, you basically gain a memory. Inheritance is whenever you have 3 security exactly, you gain jamming. So these 2 effects are going to synergize for some of the combos we'll talk about later on, but this is super important for the deck. And then rounding out the level 3s, I've got 3 copies of Bushiagumon from BT4. What's great about this card, you drop him on the board and he can swing immediately. So he has haste. So when you're playing LordKnight and you swing, you can drop a level 3 for free. This guy's a great target, so you can drop him and immediately swing again at security. That being said, a lot of the level 3s are going to be aggro focused, and the first half here, or the second half here I'm pointing to, Bushiagumons plus the Pulsemons are going to really fuel that aggro game plan. Alright, so the level 4s. In previous iterations of LordKnightmon, level 4s are really just the go-between to get to your level 5s and 6s. In this deck, they serve a bit of a better role. First off, 3 Pedomons. Again, a blocker. You need a couple of blockers here. And he's a cheap one, so yeah, why not include him? 5,000 DP, blocker. Pretty straightforward. Next up, and again, this one is like the previous LordKnightmon iterations, kind of the go-between for level 5s. Toraemon, great include, 1 to evolve, 6,000, not a bad stat line. He's a good swinger, sometimes he gets over security as well, and he's cheap evolve for some card draw. The last set of level 4s we're going to see are actually going to be the Bulkmons from BT6. Now this guy, if you have 3 or more security, he gains security attack +1. Now that doesn't seem very great because it's 5,000 DP, but we'll talk about why this is so strong in the combo section at the end here. Also, shout out to the artwork. Whoever did the art is super clean. Camera's not gonna help me out. All right, level 5s. I've got a couple level 5s here. Level 5s all have varied uses in this deck. They're very flexible. I like that. I've got 2 copies first off of BT3 Anjouwomon. On evolve, you give one of your opponent's Digimon -2 security attack. Not bad. 3 cost evolve. One of your opponent's Digimon can't swing for security in the next turn. But what's more important here is the inheritance effect, which basically allows you to play level 3 from your hand whenever this Digimon attacks. Again, that's on inheritance, so once you get to level 6, you get access to that effect. Do be aware that that effect only happens when you have 3 or less security. So again, 3 security is going to be a recurring theme in this deck, so keep that in mind. Next up, no surprise here, it's a LordKnightmon deck, so you have to have 3 copies of Knightmon. On play, drop your opponent's one of your opponent's Digimon's DP by 4,000. That's going to be good for getting over some big Digimon or some smaller blockers or rookies that are just hanging around in the field. And finally, let's round out the level 5s. Again, staple included in the old LordKnightmon deck from BT5. Same here in BT6. Megalogrowlmon, who on Digiburst 2, you can, get rid of 2 sources and reduce another Digimon's DP by 4,000. So, your level 5s are really there to kind of help fuel your game plan of getting rid of blockers, getting rid of some big Digimon, and even some of your level 6s as well. We'll talk about it in a moment. But also inheritance, if you have 3 or less security, you gain +1,000 DP. That one's not so important, but sometimes 1,000 DP does help you get over some of the bigger monsters that you wouldn't normally be able to swing over. And those are level 5s. So let's take a look at the level 6s. Of course, the deck's namesake. I mean, it's in the name, for heaven's sakes. LordKnightmon, 4 copies. You have to have 4 copies of this bad boy. Being able to swing and then generate another follower on board or another Digimon on board is really strong, whether it be a Night type or a level 3. Any level 3 is really strong. LordKnightmon lets you go into wider boards, play Wushiagumon, play Starmons to reduce the boards. He's really flexible in that what he can drop will differ depending on the situation that you're in. And that kind of flexibility is what makes the deck really strong. And to round out the level 6s here, just 2 copies of Slash Anjouwomon. Slash Anjouwomon is great just because on evolve it's a -8,000, which is a massive number. So you can have turns where you can potentially take out 12 to 13,000 DP Digimon, and in one go with the Slash Anjouwomon's help. So he's really just there for big removal. Okay, so the deck does have some support in Tamers and options. We're gonna go over the Tamers very quickly. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to fit everything you want in here for support, but I was able to slide in 2 TKs, being able to, of course, go to 3 memory if you get less than 3 memory in a turn. Additionally, it's a nice search in that you can always, when you play this card, you can take a look at your security stack and say if there is a card in there that I need, grab it and add it to your hand to help fuel your combos. 2 copies of that, and on to the options. First up, 4 copies of, I think this is called Blinding Ray in English. It's called Dekosho in Japanese. It's a security that lets you discard 1 of your security to gain 2 memory. Super useful, some really cool plays that you can make with this card. I mean, if you're, down and out or you just need a little bit more to push the game, this card is usually going to help you out. It is scary getting rid of security, but with this deck, you're going to be playing fast and lose to security anyway, so you're going to have to get used to burning those bad boys to win the game. You have to feel comfortable with it is what it is. It takes a couple of games to really get that level of comfort, more for some people than others, but once you get that comfort, you really enable yourself to bring out the full potential of the deck, I think. And finally, to round out the deck, I initially had 3 copies of Chaosmon Valderarm, but I felt that just including copies of Spiral Masquerade, 4 copies of Spiral Masquerade here, was a better choice. The reason is because Valderarm is pretty expensive. You give up a lot of memory there that way, and he's only dropping 14k. I say only 14k. That's not a bad number. I shouldn't say only 14k. He's dropping 14k Digimon. Spiral Masquerade is a bit more flexible, being able to just ping off Digimon in chunks of 3,000. And with your LordKnightmon swinging and you being able to drop Digimon, This card gets a lot of usefulness, I think, at the end of a turn where you have 1 or 2 memory left. You can play this, wipe your opponent's board, and then give them only a couple memory to work with in the following turn. Okay, now this is the fun part of the deck. And that is talking about some of the potential combos that the deck has. Alright, so let's talk about combos for this deck. This deck is more aggressively focused than other variants of LordKnightmon, just because in BT6, that's kind of what LordKnightmon's role is going to be. He's going to be often, you know, playing the quick and fast game because he really just cannot out-control some of the control decks in this meta. So first up, one of the coolest combos in this deck is using the 2 new cards, Pulsemon and Bulkmon from BT6. Pulsemon being able to, on play, drop your security to 3, and then once you Digivolve over him to Bulkmon, you get the inheritance effect of Pulsemon, which allows you to gain jamming because you have exactly 3 security. And then Bulkmon's effect of having 3 security or more gives him security attack +1, which means, despite the fact that he's a 5000 DP attacker, he has security attack +1, and he has jamming. So it doesn't really matter what you're going to be checking into, for the most part, as long as it's not an option. He's going to be doing a bunch of damage, you know, cutting your opponent's security almost in half in a single swipe. And it's super easy to get to. So, you know, even in the really early game, what you can do with something on like turn 2, turn 1 is play Yugioh, remove one of your security outright and gain 2 memory. And then you can play Pulsemon, who will get rid of your other remaining security and put you, and then gain 1 memory back as well. So he put you at net 0, and then you can immediately go into Bulkmon for the evolve, and it's pretty scary combination. In 1 turn, you got to your security attack +1 with jamming, and there's very little that your opponent can do without giving you a bunch of memory to work with in the following turn. Also, shout outs to this guy last night. I swiped over, or I jammed a Omnimon Alter S. Hell yeah. Bulkmon been in the gym. All right, so combo number 2 is actually kind of like a pyramid. What you can do in some cases where your opponent has a big level 6 out, or, you know, medium-sized level 6 out who has like 12,000 or so DP, you can get to your Knightmon off of maybe a Lord Knight swing. You can just drop him minus his opponent's Digimon by 4,000, or if you just work your way to Megalo Growlmon and Digiburst 2, you can, you know, drop a Digimon's DP by 4,000. The follow-up play to that is then to play your slash Angemon and then reduce it by a further 8,000. So in a lot of cases, what you'll either be doing is dropping a super big Digimon, or you'll be being able to drop, you know, like a level 3 and a level 5, or, you know, 2 level 4s, something like that. Really, really good combo here for removal. Again, either of these works going into slash Angemon, so if you can get, you know, even half of this, either or is good. And then perhaps the dirtiest combo of the deck, and this is why I think the aggressive variant of LordKnightmon kind of works in this meta. A lot of decks, again, I said, are very combo control heavy, so being able to hurt them when they're trying to set up or just go wider than they can is really important. Once you get to an Angemon and you then evolve her over a LordKnightmon, because earlier in the game you reduce your security by 3 using either Yugioh's or Pulsemon outright, you now have access to Angewomon's inheritance effect, which allows you to play level 3 on swing, which is almost the same thing as what Lord Knight does on swing. So what you can potentially do is go into your Lord Knight, get the inheritance effect of Angewomon, swing, and not drop just 1, but drop 2 Bushiagumons, which guarantees you at least 3 swings during the turn. I mean, this is going to take out the other half of your security. In a lot of cases, this just wins me the game. Being able to swing over a Digimon. If you have another LordKnightmon like I did last night, you can do some crazy plays, like, you know, get rid of like a smaller Digimon with like by playing a Knightmon or something like that, or play a Starmons plus these 2 guys here, and then just go super crazy on your opponent's board. And again, this for the most part will just close out games in and of itself. That's why I think this deck really does, you know, give a lot of control combo decks a hard time, because they can just push out, you know, 2 security here, 3 security here, and then all I have to do is find 1 more swing somewhere, and it's not really that hard when you're playing Lord Knight, because you're always going to have a body on board somewhere. And that's it. That's it for the deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I've had a ton of fun playing with this deck. You do play a little fast and loose with your security, and in a lot of cases that means you're either going to win really fast or die really fast. So you have to be careful and spin those Pidomons, those 3 blockers that you have, very, very strategically. If your opponent is able to control you out in the early game, you're going to need to be able to go the long game, run the LordKnightmon route, get those double Bushiagumon out, and then win the game that way. But again, very fun deck. I hope you guys have a chance to play it when BT6 comes out in your side of the world, or if you're playing BT6 right now, give it a shot. This deck, it really outperformed how well I thought it would do initially, considering things like Jessmon and Titamon and Beelstamon are running around. It actually has a pretty good spawn, I think, in the meta. Maybe not tier 1, maybe tier 2. That's probably my best estimate of where it's going to end up, but I still think it's a very solid tier 2 deck. Alright guys, again, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Again, if you want to see the deck that I didn't include here, you know, something like good old Jessmon, I've got the spicy Alphamon tech, something like the new Lilithmon. Very interesting. I'm still testing this one out to kind of learn all the combos and some of the lines of play, but this deck I didn't think would be very good, and it really outperformed expectations. Yeah, if you want to see any of those decks in future videos, let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you next time. Also, if you do like Digimon, I have a Discord. We play in there every so often. I also stream sometimes. Usually I do Digimons on Fridays. And yeah, if you want to watch that, all that information is in the description below. Thanks again, guys, and take care. Bye-bye.